How is everybody tonight? All right. Mailbag. So, first off, mailbag may get interrupted because our hot water heater has been slowly failing. I think it's just the oil filters clogged on it, but I don't want to get in there and replace it myself because it's a mess. So I've been trying to avoid fixing it, and this morning it just quit completely, and we've got a repair guy coming before noon, they said. So he may turn up anytime, and I might have to cut this a little short today. We'll see. Probably not, though. You know, those guys are always running a little behind. So much to do. As for news this week, I don't know. The big project this week has been making sure that everybody stays medicated for the ringworm and trying to just get that thing really done forever. We're not quite there yet. The toughest one, of course, is Cloak, because Cloak is such a, excuse me, wow, that was rude. Cloak is such a nervous cat that, you know, she's very sweet and loving. She just purrs and purrs and purrs when you pet her, but getting her to that point where you can pet her is difficult because she's just so scared. She'll run away. You know, she's like Eddie, but times 10, you know, like really bad where she wants that affection, but she's just too afraid to get it. Which really, she's so afraid that way, so sort of spooked that way, that it's causing some trouble trying to keep her fungus free. Because of course she won't let me pick her up. That's something she's never put up with. You know, no matter what, no matter how like friendly I'm being with her, if I try to pick her up, that's it. That's too much. It's always too much. So picking her up to go take her for a bath, you know, like we've been given the lime sulfur. We don't give a bath. We actually sort of spray them down with it because it's a lot more gentle and they don't mind it as much as a bath. But taking her out of the room to go get that done and hanging on to her and making it happen is really a difficult process for both of us, but especially for her. It really sort of freaks her out. So I'm trying to give her gabapentin so that she's calm, but even the biggest dose of gabapentin that we can give or that we're comfortable giving isn't enough to really keep her calm. So in the meantime, I've got her on, I did manage to give her one treatment this week, which is really important because she had like a really big spot that was super obvious and was, I don't know what you call it, like a fruiting body or something where you could tell that the fungus was actively, you know, ready to reproduce and spore everywhere. So, you know, sort of the worst possible case. So I did make a point of giving her a bath the other day. I'd like to make sure I do it at least one more time, probably more than that. So Dr. Katz has offered to give us some stronger little sedative for her for when we need to do that. And in the meantime, I think I interrupted myself. I was saying, in the meantime, I'm giving her the oral treatment for it, which the doc thinks is probably, that's what the doc prefers to use anyways, the oral treatment. I want to make sure the environment stays clean too, and the oral treatment doesn't work instantly, so that's why I want to do it at least one more time, but maybe a few if the oral doesn't seem like it's getting it all. So that's the ringworm news. I can't believe we're still on that topic, but there you have it. Other than that, there's not that much to report. These kids are all doing really well. I've been noticing that they're starting to, you know, these kids all came to us, they were already a few weeks old and already sort of not socialized the way that we're used to having kittens socialized. So they've been a little more nervous, and they're still a little more nervous than the cats that we're used to. But they, as I'm showing, they have been coming around a lot where, you know, if I sit down on my bed, you know, they all want to be in my lap and be petted, and they just love the attention, and they're really getting to be good people kittens. This guy's an exception, of course, from the beginning, as you all know. He's been super social the whole time. And you are a good number 2. And of course the mom cats, well, not Cloak, but Noodles and Cape here are both super friendly. Noodles is just great. So it's probably time for us to start thinking about getting them adopted, but you know, we still need to get those spays and neuters done too. All that's pending. So Anyway, my goal for today, after mailbag, I see you've got a spot on your, I can't tell, it doesn't look active. It may just be that the hair hasn't grown back from the spot that they had, but I saw a spot there, I see a spot here. The places where they tend to get it the most is, if you're looking like on the inside, hi buddy, you're hiding, blocking the camera. Right on the inside of their paw here, where they where they groom themselves, that's one way it spreads. And then also where they groom themselves, like so sort of right behind the ear. She's got a little spot that's been on her ear. I think it's just grown the hair back. It's an older spot. So they tend to show up, in this sort of area because this is, how they sort of spread it around. And lately I've noticed that several of them have just a tiny little spot of it on the top of their nose, which is really hard to get because you don't want to get that lime stuff in their face. But I've been sort of wetting a sponge, and you just sort of, just carefully sort of put a little bit on there while you're doing the rest. So, what are you going to do? Hello, Mr. A and Dr. DJ. Hope you are doing well. How is the house hunting going? Well, it's a good question because DJ has found a house that she is head over heels in love with, like crazy about. And it's a good like 30 minutes further away from the hospital than we want to be. So it's not, 30 minutes is like our limit. This one's like an hour away. And it's just, I'm like, no, it's not an option. We are not doing that. And it's made her very sad. So, but there's a couple of good options. Like she's finding some stuff right now that she really likes and that I like too. So there's definitely good options. In fact, if the timing works out, we may end up going down there this week. And, well, we almost certainly will go down there this week to take a look at a couple things. And if there's one that we like as much as we think, we could have an offer in on it by this time next weekend. So we'll see. We're moving as fast as we can, honestly. Okay, all right, what is this? It says, the note, okay to read on air. Thank you, dear Mr. A and Dr. DJ. We are Cathi and Cory from the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. Oh my goodness, we've been watching your stream for a few years. Our first class was the Breakfast Club. We hear you might be coming to live in the Lehigh Valley. We've included some local Lehigh Valley papers for you to get acquainted. That's perfect. The Lehigh Valley includes Allentown, Bethlehem, Whitehall, and Copley. Okay, I would have said Copley. Thank you for that. Among other towns. Yeah, I realized that from searching at least, and I recognize a lot of these names. I think Bethlehem doesn't look like it's geographically suited exactly where we'd want, but we've had a lot of people sort of suggest it as a place to look for a house. I think it's close enough, though. Most of it is. I was going to mention the names of the actual towns that are the ones that we've been looking at, but it's a whole bunch of towns just squished together. As you say here, they all kind of run together into one big community. Wow, we feel welcome to Lehigh already. Now, we still don't have the ink on the paperwork to make it official, but we're hoping to have that done before we even go down this week. So I'd love to be able to tell everybody that it's 100% for sure. It is, it's like as near to 100% as you can be, but I hate to say that until until the ink is on the paper, so that's all we're waiting for. It's technicality, that's what I would say. It's just a technicality at this point. We're there in all but fact. And then we have the papers. Look at that. Oh, you sent a whole stack too. That's so exciting. It's called the Home News, Your Local News. The photos on these are nice. We also have the Blue Mountain Town and Country Gazette. Wow. I haven't actually seen Lehigh Valley. It just occurred to me now reading that it is a valley. There must be some sort of mountains around, I suppose. That is, I'm excited to see it in person. Let's see, we got the Whitehall Copley Press, the Northampton Press, the you sent this one just so I couldn't pronounce it, didn't you? Catasauqua? I'm going to go with Catasauqua Press. The East Penn Press. These are clearly all published by the same paper, but that's interesting that they separated out by sort of the area there. And then we have the Nazareth Key. There's so many biblical names right there with Bethlehem and Nazareth, and there were some others that I had noticed as well. That's interesting. We were recently discussing your impending move, and we were wondering if this might be our last box mailed to Connecticut, as we don't want to add to the things needing to be packed. I guess we will play it by ear. Well, I'm glad that you're thinking that way. I've been thinking that way myself. Not a lot, but a little bit of like, oh, I'm not going to buy this stuff because then we're just going to have to move it. Let's put all that stuff off for now. And I have been looking at the endowment piles in the basement. Now, obviously, we're going to try to endow as much as possible for these kittens so that we can send it to someone else's home and not have to move it, like you say. I think there's a strong possibility that we'll take a bunch of the stuff and maybe, anything that's sort of still pending and maybe send it to Dawes. We'll have to check that out. I feel like there was another thought I wanted to put in there about, I would think I was in the middle of saying, we might try to sort of take some of the stuff that makes sense to give to Dawes and leave it with Dawes rather than try to move it, depending on, what it is that we've got. I also think we're just the last time that we moved, we rented a big dumpster out in front of the house and just filled it with everything, because it's not usually worth the cost of moving everything. Depending on what it is, and there's so much house cleaning that we've been deferring anyway, at this point. They're playing with those peeps on the card still, and now they've got it stuck on the cable. Cardigan does. Cardigan, let me help you. Can I help you? Would you still want that peep if I took it off the card? Oh, hang on. No, you've got to let go for a minute, though. You won't even give me a second to... Here, let me help you. Here, right here. There it is. Is it still fun with no card? Okay, there's a blue one for you. So last time we moved, we rented a big dumpster. We just filled it with stuff. And then after we had everything I think it was after we had everything sort of packed up and moved, we took everything that was still in the house, everything that we didn't want to move, and there's a company you can call, a company you can call that just gets rid of junk. I think it was called like We Got Junk or something. And we just had them bring in a truck and said, take everything in the house. We didn't even have to move it out for them or anything. They just come into the house and start picking stuff up and moving it out into their truck, which is a really cool thing. And if I recall, we don't even pay for it. They've got some way to dispose of this that makes them money. So we'll probably end up doing that same sort of thing this time, with a big dumpster and get rid of a bunch of stuff and have somebody come in and just take away the rest of the stuff that doesn't have any, value to it. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot. There's a lot of work to get done before a big move, and I'm not exactly looking forward to it, but I am as excited as DJ about having a house that we can be more excited about. It's not a secret. I've never liked this house very much. We bought it in a hurry, and it was bought strategically, thinking we were only going to be here for 3 years. This is so pretty. Look at those noses on those two kitties. We bought this house strategically, thinking that DJ was just going to do her 3-year residency, and then we'd probably be moving again. We didn't know she was going to do a fellowship at all. That wasn't initially part of the plan, and then we wouldn't have known that her fellowship would be right here anyway. But it was, so we've been here 3 years longer than we planned, and as I was saying, we sort of bought this house. We picked this one over all the others that we were looking at because it had a nice low price for the size, and it's in a place that's known for its school district, and given it's such a large house, we thought, well, when we move out right away, we should be concerned about how we're going to resell this place. And this is going to, hopefully, our thought was this is going to be a place that has a real value to somebody because it's big enough for a family, and it's got a school district that everybody is apparently, is sought after. So it may be easy to sell that way. I'm still hoping it is. We'll find out. But other than those factors, other than the value of being able to sell it very soon after we had purchased it, there's not anything that I find especially appealing about this house. It's exactly the kind of house that I wouldn't want. Like just a regular old, what do you call it, colonial? I don't know, just a series of boxy rooms and straight hallways and nothing particularly interesting about it. It's just your home. It's just a home, it's not anything special that way to me. I do really like the creek outside, but I haven't gotten outside to enjoy it very much. And if we were gonna, yeah, this is so cute. He's a kitty in a teacup. Oh, it's so cute. Look at those eyes. I think if we were like, if this was going to be our forever home, I could easily turn this into a house that I would find interesting and that I would like. But because we've always been right on the edge of moving out any day now, I haven't done that. I haven't made those changes that I would want to see. There's a lot of stuff in the house that I would remodel, maybe take out a wall here and there and combine some rooms so that there were some more spacious areas. And also, though, I think I would do a lot of work outside. Like I've always thought about building like a little, not even quite a gazebo, but more like a little, just a sitting area down by the creek and some wooden stairs that go down the really steep ravine that we have there so that you can walk down and have a seat and, you know, sort of sit by the creek. I always thought that would be really nice to do, but that's a whole project that doesn't make sense if we're moving out, you know. Stuff like that would really make this a wonderful place to live. And it's all stuff that, like I said, we haven't done because we're never planning on staying.